is disreputable, it's improper, it may be illegal. It looked like kind of the Meghan show. It looks like she was trying to muscle in and make it a sort of PR event for herself.
The PDAs were pretty intense, and we got more of a front row seat to all of these PDAs. It was kissing, hugging, hand-holding.
Hi, I'm Matt Wilkinson, The Sun's Royal Editor. Welcome to Royal Exclusive. With me in the studio today is news.com.au royal reporter Bronte Coy and ex-Home Office Minister and royal author Norman Baker. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, Norman, I've known you for years, and I know that over these years you have been a thorn in the side of the royal family. So tell me what you think might be wrong or what concerns you have about Prince Andrew. The news we have this week that he has got a new job and he is selling off the networks that he created under Pitch at the Palace for many years to a new Dutch-based startup company that is worth billions. Do you have any concerns knowing that we do about Andrew over the past couple of years?
I think the concerns I have are concerns that people have generally, whether or not they're in favour of the monarchy, because the way Andrew's behaving is out of order. Pitch at Palace was set up and people engaged in that, companies, individuals, because they wanted to help start-up businesses. They wanted to make sure that entrepreneurs were assisted. They wanted to make sure that the UK benefited as a country. They didn't join up in order to give Andrew a source of income for himself, private income. It was seen as a government, a public initiative. Buckingham Palace was used for this purpose. So that's the history of it. And the data belongs to those people who get engaged with Prince Andrew. It doesn't belong to Prince Andrew personally. And for him now to sell it off is disreputable, it's improper, it may be illegal. And I intend to file a complaint with the Information Commissioner to suggest that he's breaking data protection laws by using information given for one purpose for an entirely different one.
Well, he's got a lot on his plate there, hasn't he, Norman, when you put it like that? I mean, can we trust Prince Andrew over the years? Well, what has the last decade or so shown us? Because the situation, as I understand it, as we reported in The Sun on Sunday, is that he has a commercial deal with Startup Bootcamp, OK? And for each network that from Pitch at the Palace that he used to link through to Southeast Asia or to the Middle East, for each network, he then gets paid for that network, depending on how much they value it.
Yeah.
He's now getting enough money to tell the royal household that he has enough funds to stay at Royal Lodge. Can we trust what he's doing?
We can't trust Prince Andrew, and we haven't been able to trust him for about 20 years. We go back to the time he was Britain's trade envoy. It's very clear from his engagements in that time, he was acting not for Britain, he was acting for himself. He was doing private deals on the side, getting commission from dodgy dictators for particular activities at that stage. On the Pitch at the Palace, it turned out he was attempting to get 2% commission from deals which were being signed up to, which people, of course, were horrified by, and some people pulled out of Pitch at Palace when that became known. So Prince Andrew has been interested in Prince Andrew and not in the UK or anything else that he might have been representing, such as the royal family. I'm afraid he's a sleazeball. That's the truth of the matter. And he needs to be held to account for that.
Bronte, I mean, here's a guy who's 64 years old, and as Norman rightly points out, he has a history of questionable business decisions, whether it's for his own benefit or the palace's benefit or for the UK's benefit. Norman's gone through them quite candidly. But he's a 64-year-old guy that he needs money to stay in Royal Lodge. He needs to find a way to actually get some income.
Yeah, I mean, to begin with, I think you said it all so well. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who disagrees, really. That is the truth. He's been given a lot of public trust in the past, and over the last 20 years has really squandered it with decisions he's made. So it's fair that this is happening now and that he doesn't have an official position. With that said, my concern is he is a person, exactly as you've said, that does need to earn an income in some capacity. He's the King's brother, so he's in an awkward position where we're probably not going to go see him step into a retail job or something a little bit more akin to, I guess, a commoner role like the rest of us. But with that said, he does need money. And when you cut off any chance of someone earning that money, and especially someone like Andrew, who has honestly the worst judgment really imaginable, what then does he do? Do we see another tell-all? Do we see him go even more rogue because he's been cut off? I don't know. It really is quite a complicated problem, and I don't know where it ends for him if he's not given any scope to earn money. But with that said, all of the concerns you've raised about this role specifically are completely valid. So it's very complicated.
He doesn't need to be in Royal Lodge. Royal Lodge is a 30-bedroom house. Why is he there? The King wanted him out. We know that. He refuses to go. So why is it that he's behaving as he does? He ought to show a bit of humility. He's no longer a working royal. He doesn't need that property, and he should be moving out of it. And that's the answer to his financial problems, to do that. But, you know, his judgment is awry, apart from being rather arrogant, which he is, and actually not very bright, which he isn't either. He's also just greedy. That's what he is. And he's got no judgment in terms of who he dealt with. I was coming in today, Matt, to the studio and thinking, who has he dealt with over the years? Apart from Jeffrey Epstein, the paedophile, and his best mate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's now convicted and in prison. Let's have a look at the other ones. Timur Kulibayev, the son-in-law of the Kazakh dictator. He bought Andrew's house, Sunning Hill Park, for £15 million. It'd been on the market for £12 million. No one had been interested in it. Ghastly building, actually. He paid £50 million for it, and it then left to sit empty for years. Why did he pay over the odds? Why did he buy it? We haven't got the answer to that question.
We've never got the answers.
Never got the answer to that. Then we got Saka El-Matari, who was the son-in-law of the Tunisian dictator Ben Ali. He was described by the British ambassador to Tunisia as a crook. It's a word he used. Then we got Tarak Khatumi, convicted Libyan gun runner, who was giving a gift of £18,000 necklace, diamond necklace, to Beatrice. What was he doing? He took Andrew on holiday. Why was he doing that? What did he get in return? Do these people just love Andrew and want to give him money for nothing? No, they want something in return. We need to find out what it was. Then, of course, we got the accused Chinese spy Yang Tengbo, who has also been tied in with Andrew. The guy's got no judgment.
Well, I think the thing, just to clarify, Startup Bootcamp are a reputable company. Well, they're valued about £6 billion, and they help fund kind of startup companies around the world. But as you pointed out there, he has a long history of dodgy dealings, or with people who are with let's say, unsavoury reputations and unsavoury names. But what we understand is last summer, Startup Bootcamp came to meet the royal household and said, this is our plan for Andrew. We want to use these networks and we want to sell them. If it all goes wrong, this could backfire on the royal household and the king. It's not just Prince Andrew's reputation that is on the line here if things do go down.
Well, because it's as you said, it was a royal initiative back when it was launched, and the way that those contacts have been cultivated was through royal channels. So exactly as you say, if it backfires, it does all roads sort of lead back there once again for the king and the monarchy. And it's been a sort of endless problem, and you can't trust that it won't backfire for all the reasons we've just said.
A Startup Bootcamp that has been presented to the Chinese in particular as Andrew's personal investment vehicle. That's how they described it. So he's being used as a sort of royal symbol to give endorsement to what is being done. I'm sure Startup Bootcamp's a legitimate company, but they want Andrew because he still got some credit, amazingly, in some countries we don't know about him, presumably. And secondly, because he's got contacts which are worth having. That's why they want him, not because of any personal attributes he's got.
Ultimately, he's done this to stay in Royal Lodge, which, as you pointed out earlier, you know, as you pointed out earlier, you think he should maybe downsize, but ultimately, that's what all this is about: is to earn money to stop the king kicking him out.
Yes, and also this curious relationship with Fergie. He's never quite divorced, never quite married to her. She wants money. She's like a colander. We pour money on one side and it comes out through the holes at the bottom. She's got endless desire for money. So, you know, that's another source of income he needs to deal with.
Well, she's working very hard, Sarah. She's always got something that's happening. She's always got books to write or TV appearances.
She's got a podcast, and she's also, of course, on record as trying to sell access to Andrew.
Yeah.
But it is the case, exactly as you said. It's a 30-room building. They don't need it. I think it is just a case of pride. He doesn't want to be kicked out. It also, you know, publicly, it would be humiliating for him to have to leave, although I do think it is the time that he should. But I think overall it's a pride thing.
Well, it looks like whatever he's done here with Startup Bootcamp and earning all this money, it's given him a stay of execution, and he will be staying at Royal Lodge for as long as he has the money. Anyway, as long as the money keeps rolling in.
Incredible, it just keeps happening.
I know. Well, let's move on to Harry and Meghan. So We've been seeing the pictures this week from the Invictus Games. Harry and Meghan have been together in Canada, in Vancouver and in Whistler. There's been all sorts. They've had a selfie with Nelly Furtado. There's been some major public displays of affection. They've been chugging beer. They've been tubing, which I'm assured is like a pursuit on the ice. There's some great
like
pictures.
Blow up toboggan.
It's a blow up toboggan down there. They look like having a great time. So we commissioned a poll here at The Sun, and we were asking whether our readers and viewers thought that they were still royal or whether they are members of the public or just commoners. And I'll give you the results. It says 19% of our readers consider them to be royal, but 41% say they are celebrities, and 40% say they are commoners or non-royals. What do you guys think about that? Are they celebrities now?
I find that last figure you gave, I think 40% saying that they're non-royals / commoners. The reality is, by definition, really, they are celebrities. I think the definition of a celebrity is someone who is very well known. They are two of the most famous people on the planet. They do fall outside the official royal area now, but I think they are celebrities, and the way that they've been presenting themselves over the last few years shows that seems to be a space they want to be in. That they, even as you've mentioned with Meghan's Instagram, she's coming across now as a Hollywood influencer, and that seems to be the image she's wanting to present. So I suppose, by all definition, I would say they're now celebrities.
Well, I've been sorry, Norman.
No, I was just thinking, the Invictus Games, it looked like kind of the Meghan show. Looks like she was trying to muscle in and make it a sort of PR event for herself. I don't know about the athletes, but she was there making sure she was centre stage, more than Harry was, as a matter of fact. And you have to say it's a bit like John and Yoko, really, in terms of who's running things. It's quite a curious relationship. And I have to say, she looks in her element at Hollywood and over there, but I'm not whether Harry is, it's another matter.
Well, the Invictus Games is a really important thing for Harry.
It is, yeah. So, but he wasn't centre stage, was he? She was.
Well, the interesting thing about this, there's been lots of rumours about, is there trouble in California? They spend a lot of time apart. Harry spent his 40th birthday with his friends, and they do, I think they've split their working arrangements particularly. But what I was interested in was that Meghan left early. So she's not spending Valentine's Day with Prince Harry in Canada. She's gone home to spend time with the children. I'm not going to comment on that, Bronte. I'm just going to maybe raise an eyebrow
and let me comment on it
and throw it to you and ask, what do you think that means?
Yes, she's posted already back in California. She posted a little Invictus package that she'd obviously been sent for the kids. I think that there's going to be an extraordinary amount of scrutiny on everything that happens with them and their relationship because of the professional separation that happened last year. With that said, the PDAs were pretty intense, and we got more of a front row seat to all of these PDAs. It was kissing, hugging, hand-holding. By, just looking on surface value, at least, it certainly looked like a couple very much in love. And the reason we saw so much of that, to tie it in with the Instagram part, is because she was posting a lot of that, these moments together. It's because we're only just now seeing Meghan on Instagram in this capacity for the first time since she started dating Harry publicly. It's hard to know if this is always the way that they've been together, because it's unusual. We're not used to seeing this much of them behind the scenes and them being so lovey-dovey. We get the photos and you get videos on engagements, but it's very different having them joking around. He was pushing her on that tubing and they were giggling together. And so yes, I think I also need to make mention that she left the Dusseldorf Invictus Games early as well. So it's possibly just the way that they operate that, and maybe we don't read into that at all. They have 2 kids at home. She has done it before. So I'll put that on the record. But yes, I think it's been a curious time seeing just how personal her Instagram account has been in showcasing her and Harry, particularly at a time when it's off the back of that article that came out last month talking about the relationship and all this scrutiny. So
we've never seen so much. I've never seen so much, PDAs between that couple in the years I've reported on them. I went to both Dusseldorf and The Hague. I didn't go to Canada this year because I genuinely believe that they, as our viewers believe, that they're more in the celebrity world rather than the royal world. When they're out there in California and Canada, almost like a celebrity story. When they're over here doing things with the King and Queen or having arguments or bringing out shows, it's a royal story. But I've never seen so much PDA. I've never seen so much display, and I don't know whether that's because of the stories and the rumours that have been going on, or, as you're right, that's just what they're like behind the scenes. Who knows?
I think we'll have to watch how it unfolds with the way she's presenting herself, because I would also say, if you noticed, she launched this Instagram account I think it was on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day this year, and it was so slick and polished. It was she was previewing the work she was doing, and it was, that film of her riding on the sand, and it was all very slick. But it's gone from that to now what really is a very candid, here's my life, here's me and Harry, here's this stuff that we've donated via my celebrity friends. It's very much changed in the space of, 6 weeks? So, yeah, I don't know if that's a reaction to what happened last month, which was quite a PR debacle for them on a few fronts, or if that's, we're just going to get more of that as it unfolds. So I don't know. I
think coming back to your poll, or your paper's poll, Harry wants both worlds. He wants to be the best of both worlds. He wants to be a celebrity or independent of the royal family, and I'm no longer part of this family. But he also wants to be called HRH and all the benefits that flow from that. And, I think he's entitled to leave the royal family if he wants to. Nobody should be imprisoned by that if they don't want to be there. But he can't then hang on to the bits he wants and abandon the bits he doesn't want. It doesn't work that way.
Well, you talk about leaving the royal family, and one development that has happened this week is Donald Trump talking about whether he would ever deport Harry and Meghan back to the UK.
Yeah.
So I think he said, he basically said that he wouldn't kick Harry out, because Harry has a visa issue going at the moment through court, which we all know about, that whether he lied on his visa application.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump has said, I will not deport Harry. He's safe here because he has enough problems already dealing with his terrible wife.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the kind of way you've been in politics. This is, you know what Donald Trump is, just the way that he kind of speaks sometimes.
Yeah.
But
well, Donald Trump is. Anyone who's supporting him is wonderful, and anyone who supports the Democrats is terrible. I mean, that's and she was obviously associated with the Democrats and Kamala Harris, and that's why he's saying that.
Yeah. So we understand that Trump doesn't want to, but one of the main reasons is because he has a very warm friendship with Charles and William. He's obviously, we know that Donald Trump is a big fan of the royal family. He's spoken of his respect for the late Queen Elizabeth II. And over the years, we're told that Charles and Trump have struck up a little bit of a friendship, and Donald Trump wouldn't want to do anything to really annoy his new friend. Ironically, it's Charles and William that are helping Harry stay in California.
That's what I was about to say, the irony of the situation. But when you really game it out, imagine if, it always seems somewhat unlikely, but given, that Trump often does do things that seem unlikely or unpredictable, he may well have taken action on this. But it did, if you game out what that actually would have looked like, Meghan would have to have come back to, assuming, that the rumours that had circulated were untrue, which I believe they are, she would have to have moved back to the UK with him. The two of them would have had to live here with their kids, knowing that he's estranged from William and he's got a very tense relationship with his father. And also, to your poll, people don't know what category they fall into. England's not that big when it comes to tensions within the royal family. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that would be as an ongoing situation, having these non-royal, quasi-royals sort of in the background for the rest of the royal family? So you can imagine that that Trump, I don't know if it's ever actually been raised in these terms in his private conversations with the royals, but you can imagine that it has been advised to him that it would cause a lot of problems for the King and William if he deported Harry.
Well, they're safe for now. They're America's problem, OK, not the UK's problem right now. Norman, we haven't brought you on just to talk about, the ins and outs of Meghan and Harry and what's going on in California. You are a former Home Office minister in the UK government. And so I just want to ask you, we have recently found, we recently received an answer back from the Home Office on exactly how much money British taxpayers have spent on the Home Office defending itself against Prince Harry's case where he wants to force the Home Office and the courts to return his 24-hour, round-the-clock armed security that was taken away during Megxit. And the figure that has got, this court case has been rumbling on for 2 or 3 years. Harry's gone into court, he's lost, he's appealed, he's moved to another court. It's actually now reached £680,000. You are always on the royals when it comes to money. Do you think this is money well spent by the government?
Well, obviously not, in terms of if we lose that money, that's money that should be spent on something else. It's an enormous sum of money. And actually, it's a ridiculous court case, in my view, because, if Harry's worried about his security, I don't understand that, because if you look at Britain, I think I'm right in saying there were 29 people killed by guns last year in the UK. In America, it's about 40,000. I mean, it's an enormous figure. So logically, he should be more worried about his security and safety in the US than he is in the UK. And I hope he will lose this case, because there's a judgment to be made about security provision And they will make judgments to the Home Office and the police as to what needs to be done in particular cases. And of course, if he needs security, if there's a threat identified, he should have it, like anybody else should have it. But I'm not aware of any such threat in the UK to Harry. It's just ludicrous. And the trouble is, some of the royal family like to have security for reasons of stature, to impress others rather than because he actually need it themselves. And I think that's what's happening here. So I hope he loses the case. And when he loses the case, I hope very much the judge will award costs against Harry, and the money the Home Office has spent will be returned to the taxpayer.
I hope so. One of the key things here is that I think when Harry and Meghan did leave, they said they didn't want to be a burden on the British taxpayer. That's why they didn't want to take any money from the sovereign grant. They didn't want to kind of be in the system where money comes from the Crown Estate and we fund the royal family. It's a bit ironic that it's costing us so much.
Look, he does, of course, have the right, as anyone does, to pick up, a legal battle that he sees fit. It does, reputationally, and I don't know if he cares about this back in the UK anymore at all anyway, but reputationally, it's just the optics of, that you're pushing this case forward and you are costing taxpayers this much money. I think it's just more to the point, it's also just another hit to his reputation back here in the UK. But as I said, I don't really know how much he cares about that anymore. So,
well, this case is just going on, and I do wonder how much it's going to end up costing us. As I say, £680,000 at the moment for the Home Office to defend it. And we know that the King is kind of avoiding speaking to Harry on the phone because he doesn't want to be compromised by Harry then talking about conversations he's had with his King.
Or recorded, to be honest with you, or recorded. We don't know. When you have a conversation with Harry on the phone, is he recording it?
Right. Well, the show's been quite heavy so far, so shall we have a little bit of light?
Sure.
Bronte, you are from Australia.
He came straight to me for light. Australian, go on.
And we have a lot of American viewers. So many people might not know what the Beano comic is, but people will know who Mike Tindall is. So Mike Tindall has been in the Beano this week, and it's a fun comic. Norman, you used to read the Beano, I believe, as a child.
I did. When I was about 8 years old, I delivered every week. I used to look forward to it.
And it's a fun kind of, it's capers, it's about school children, it's all about loads of weird characters.
Yes.
And Mike Tindall has appeared as Banana Man, Bronte.
It's very fitting. I think it works. The picture, it weirdly suited him. It actually looked so much like him in that cartoon.
But he's the kind of fun royal, isn't he, at the moment? He's the one that's bringing a bit of light and entertainment.
This is what I love. When you hear Mike Tindall speak, whether it be on his podcast or something like this, he always just seems so much more candid and casual. Like it's another degree, we're seeing a lot more of the royals being candid, but he takes it to a whole other level where you really feel like you're understanding a very regular bloke, to speak very casually at the base of it. And I loved him talking about his family life with the kids and with Zara, who at the end of the day is, she's the daughter of Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, and there you are hearing about her screaming as he's jumping out and scaring them. And I just thought it was really cute.
I think you could make the royals into different cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Beano, I should do that. You could have Andrew as Desperate Andrew rather than Desperate Dan. That'd be a good one to have. And rather than Minnie and the Minx, you'd have Megan the Minx.
I like the way you're going on this. This is a good idea.
It's a proposal we can work on, okay.
But he's the fun uncle. He's the fun uncle, isn't he?
Absolutely. Everyone wants to be friends with Mike. I think Mike and Zara just come across these really laid-back, easygoing people who are obviously very close with the rest of the royals. They seem to have stayed close, relatively close with all sides of it, even Harry and Meghan. It doesn't appear that they've had a big falling out. And they just seem like they're a really good time.
Well, I can tell you something about Mike Tindall. This is a secret. It's only between us and the hundreds of thousands of people that hopefully are going to be watching. But a friend of mine was at a hospitality event. It was England versus France in the Rugby Six Nations last weekend, and Mike Tindall was speaking, and he was asked by someone at this hospitality event about being in the royal family. And luckily, my friend was a journalist, so he has written it down very quickly and sent it to me. He said, this is what Mike Tindall said when he was asked. He said, "There is a family WhatsApp group that a few members are falling off, but I'm going up the ranks." So, guys, there is a royal family WhatsApp group where members of the family... This is fascinating.
I love this. I would love insight into this because he did mention this WhatsApp group about, I think it was in about 2018 or 2019, back when we had this illusion that, the royal cousins were all really close and it's the Fab Four and all that. And he said there was a cousins chat. And so everyone, of course, was like, oh, imagine all the jokes and the royal banter happening in there. We got William, Kate, the Tindalls, Harry and Meghan. But now, and given that comment, I'm wondering, is it still all of the cousins? Has anyone been removed?
Well,
Has anyone left?
a few members are falling off.
I bet Harry and Meghan are in it, that's certain.
But were they removed or have they left?
I bet they've been removed.
Or is there a side chat? I think that there's possibly been a whole other cousins group. That one's gone quiet as of sort of early 2020. And then there's probably another cousins chat that's opened up. But as Mike said, with less royals around, he's moving up the ranks.
Yeah, I'd love to. Remember, screenshots exist, remember? I mean, people can screenshot and show. So I do wonder what they write in this WhatsApp group, whether it is jokes and memes like we all do in our WhatsApp groups, or if it's very professional. Princess Anne has now entered the chat and has brought sanity to proceedings.
I remember he said it was a cousins chat, so I think it's all the younger ones. And I've got to believe there's funny memes in there. There's funny banter. I would love to see it one day, hopefully. Maybe Harry will put screenshots in his next book.
Maybe they say, did you see that wonderful Sun programme the other day on the Royals? They might be saying that. About your programme.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, well, we're watching this. Yes. Oh, let's hope so. I'm sure they will.
This is a call out. Yeah.
And we are saying nice things about them. We're saying nice things about Mike Tyndall this week, so maybe he'll see it. Post a link into the WhatsApp chat and we can get even more viewers.
Yes, great idea.
Right, thanks, guys. So we've just got time for our quick-fire questions. This is to both of you. We may well have addressed one or two of them through the show, so let's see how we get on. What would be Prince Andrew's most suitable occupation?
Oh, Governor General of South Georgia, which is a rock we own down near Antarctica.
We could send him there, surely.
Send him there, yeah.
Yeah. How big is the property there? Is it a 30?
Oh, it's a rock. There's nothing there. There's a lot of penguins, but nothing much else. I should say, I've got time to say this. I did actually suggest many years ago that when I was having a banter with Peter Mandelson, that he ought to be sent to be Governor General of the Falkland Islands. And I had a furious letter from the Falkland Islands Council the following week saying we don't want him.
Oh.
Yeah, you probably got thousands of penguins that are now screaming, saying we do not want Prince Andrew coming to South Georgia.
I think back of house is important. I think we're looking at a back of house role, sort of nothing forward facing, probably not near computers, not out there meeting anyone. Sort of maybe some folder sorting in the palace, maybe helping out the PAs there. I don't know. Again, just a focus on sort of staying out of it. And not making contacts anywhere is probably the main key features.
I'm so glad neither of you said like sewing mail bags in a prison. Or anything like that.
Do they sew mail bags? No, don't do that.
Or slopping out in a jail somewhere. So thank you guys for avoiding that answer, but I said it. Right. Secondly, which member of the royal family, past or present, would make the best comic character?
Oh, I want to see Diana as Wonder Woman, because it's Diana Prince is the actual name of Wonder Woman. But I think that would have been a really cool cartoon character, royal crossover.
Okay.
I think Prince Philip, actually, he always spoke his mind and was a rather colourful character.
He could be a superhero, couldn't he? Like
he
a Marvel
quite a lot
superhero.
of things. Yes,
Yeah.
he could be Mr. Honest.
Mr. Honest. And finally, we touched on Meghan's Instagram account. So which royal, past or present, do you wish had an Instagram account?
I want to see, I would have wanted to see Princess Margaret on Instagram. Have you read the itinerary of her day? It was having these long lunches and having a martini and having long baths and basically just having socialite parties. I want to see that on Instagram. I think that's the ultimate royal influencer sort of space.
I think that would be perfect. She's kind of born in the wrong generation. If she was now, that would just be epic.
It would have been so good.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll vote for Princess Di.
For what reason?
So we can find out what happened between her and Charles.
Ooh. Yeah, imagine, yeah. If once they got divorced, if she went rogue on Instagram.
And whether Camilla was part of the same Instagram party.
We're getting back into the WhatsApp group thing now, aren't we?
See who's following and unfollowing, yeah.
Camilla has unfollowed Princess Diana on Instagram. I'm going to go further back and probably say Henry VIII.
No, yeah.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yes, I think I tried to do an Anne Boleyn a few weeks back on one of these. I think that era, I would love to see that era online, the Tudor era.
Would that be on parchment rather than Instagram in those days?
The ultimate influencers.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, guys. We've been through a lot, so I really appreciate you coming on, and you're both welcome back. Well, Bronte, you're always back, but Norman, you're always welcome back. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, well, thanks so much for watching. If you like the show, please leave a comment below because we always read them, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode.